Welcome back. The first significant report on the U.S. economy since the government shutdown shows inflation edged up slightly in September. I want to bring in our MoneyWatch correspondent, Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, you've been at your MoneyWatch post all day since very early this morning. I thank you very much for staying to walk my audience through what this tells us about the persistence of inflation, what it might mean for the Federal Reserve, and also what is our current consumer confidence reading.
All right, so let's start with that CPI report, right? I mean, we ticked up to 3% annually. And I think, that was a little bit shocking for folks because you saw a 3 in front of that number. And we haven't seen that since January. But the good news is that we also were less than expected. Most economists were expecting 3.1%. And that's why I was actually down at the New York Stock Exchange earlier today. I mean, it was green on the screen. Investors were celebrating because, yes, you are seeing significant inflation in specific areas like meat prices, car repair parts, a little bit of evidence when it comes to tariffs that they are having an impact in isolated sectors, but we aren't seeing runaway inflation. And we certainly aren't seeing numbers that we saw in summer of 2022. So the fact that it came in a little bit less than expected, the investors that I spoke to said, look, this gives the Federal Reserve reason to cut next week when they meet. We are expecting a quarter-point cut, and they're probably going to continue to prioritize that weakening in the labor market. So that's why there was a lot of excitement. Like, yeah, you don't love to see it go further from 2%, which is, of course, the Federal Reserve's inflation target, rather. But it's good news that it's not more.
And consumer confidence and sentiments overall.
So we got some new consumer sentiment numbers today, and it's the lowest that we have seen since going back to mid-2022. So consumers, they are feeling higher prices. They'll tell you that inflation feels like it's high. But of course, that's something that they've been dealing with for the past 5 years.
Kelly O'Grady, have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging around and sticking with us. I appreciate it very, very much.